Hi Cancer, welcome to your week ahead horoscope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign, Cancer, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. Remember, they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. For your key to the week this week, you have the Hermit card. All right, so this is likely to be a week that is a little quieter. This is where you're pulling away from the world so that you can hear your own inner voice speak. This might also be a time where you are retreating from the world to make sense of something, and that's the feeling that I get from this. That's going to be the most prevalent. It's like maybe something comes up, maybe there's a realization, maybe there is a deep inner knowing of something, and now that you realize this, it's like, you know, they say once you know something you can't unknow it. If you have a realization this week, I kind of feel like you're going to pull away from everything so that you can kind of say, okay, where am I at with this and how do I really feel about it? And ultimately, Cancer is all about the feels. So this week it does look like you're retreating into the Cancer cave. All right, so in some way, shape or form you're pulling away from the world, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes it's good because that's the way that you detox your emotions. I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you all on your path to your highest vibrational good. My lunar brothers and sisters, for your actions and options this week, you've got the Knight of Swords. So this week you might feel like you're kind of spinning your wheels, right? And I kind of feel like this is going to be on a mental plane more than anything else. You might be so deep in thought over something that it might just be kind of like you feel like you're on a mouse wheel in some regard. This week, if that is the case and your mind is a bad neighborhood to be in, find a way to get out of there, or find a way to get whatever is in here out. One way that you can do this, I know when I was younger I used to whack on some music and I would dance it out. Some people like to paint, some people like to write, some people like to journal, some people like to sing. Whatever it is that helps you get your thoughts and your thought process out of your brain, this week I would dedicate some time to. Especially because as your actions this week as well, they might come across as slightly erratic or OTT in some way. And to you, it might just be like, no, this is me normally, and you know, everyone else around you was kind of like, no baby. Wherever you're at, this is not how it usually is. For your communications and conversations, you've got the 8 of Cups. So going back to what I said earlier about you know, your emotions, this really is you digging around or feeling into how you feel about what is going, like what's come up. So whatever you're learning, whatever you're realizing, whatever you know, knowledge is setting in for you this week, it is going to not put you in emotional turmoil, but it is going to be something that you have to process at that emotional level. And for that reason, you've got that 8 of Cups. This might be a time where you kind of look at something and say, wow, you know what, I'll give you a really good example actually. Let's say this week you have a moment where you're like, oh gosh, do you know what, I don't even know why I was self-conscious about that. And then, you know, that thing that happens in the back of your brain goes, oh, wow, you know, look at how much time you've wasted being self-conscious, and look at all the opportunities you didn't take because you were self-conscious, and and before you know it, you're in this absolute awful negative feedback loop, right? The way that you get out of that this week, you've got your instruction. Whatever your thing is, whether it's singing, whether it's like me, you put some music on and you get that dance on, right? If it is going for a run, if it's doing a weight session, whatever it might be, that is the way that you get out of this week. It's not to say that you'll be able to ignore the emotional stuff, because you are addressing an imbalance of some kind, but you're doing this at a really deep level. And in order to do that, or as I like to say, in order to clean the internal, you got to take the shell off sometimes and give it a good wash so that you can go back into it and it's nice and chilled, clean and easy in there. For those of you that are, when it comes to communications in general, the quality of communication this week is the Eight of Cups. There's an eliminative kind of energy in this card. And so I will say to you, over the course of this week, it would not surprise me if a lot of the conversations you have, it's like you're not probing for answers, but it's like from the information that comes up, you're making very definitive decisions about how you will move forward from here. For those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, I think this is a moment at which you realize, so like this week you could say, actually, you know what, I've fallen out of love with my subject. And that happens for anybody that's ever been through a degree program. You know, I've never actually finished one, so I couldn't say. I've had loads of courses that I've finished, but never a degree, sadly, for various reasons, very painful ones at that as well. But for people, and I've read for countless people that are on degree programs that are doing PhDs as well, which is a very humbling thing for me, you know, that I'm reading for these people that are super smart and super intelligent. What this tells me is, and all of them have said to me at one point or another, there comes a point where you kind of fall out of love with it because it's just like overload. This might be one of those weeks, and if that is the case, get out of there. All right, that's what the actions card is really highlighting to you this week. You need to know what your escape route is. For those of you that are employed by somebody else, honestly, I kind of feel like somebody might try to make themselves or appoint themselves your leader, mentor. It's like somebody tries to take you under their wing, but you're like, dude, I know just as much as you do, if not more. Like, how are you, do you know what I mean? Like, don't just appoint yourself my mentor, because I'm not interested in that. And fair play to you as well. If that is the case though, and they genuinely do mean well, I wouldn't cut your nose off to spite your face. Just find a polite way to create some distance, because this person could end up being quite useful to you at a later date. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, give, yeah, like when it comes to your business, I kind of get the feeling that this week you'll be looking at maybe your service list or your price list, and you'll be asking yourself, what have I got wrong here? But more importantly, what have I got right? And this isn't from a like, oh, now I need to berate myself or beat myself up. It's just about getting into that sweet spot. You're looking for what feels right to you, and something in your business feels slightly off kilter. When it comes to your, those of you that are retired and no longer working, there's going to be some deep conversation this week, all right, and potentially about stuff from or to do with the past that will have a very emotional energy about it. For your love and relations, you've got the Tower card, all right. So this with the Hermit, it's very possible, because your love and relations is also your family. I really hope I'm wrong on this front, but it's very possible that an elderly person in your family, their health maybe doesn't do so well this week. It's funny as well, because I think it was for either Taurus or Aries that same message came up. So if you have, you know, I can't remember which one it is, but you know, for those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, this could be some piece of information, or maybe even something that your partner says or does that sparks a realization of some kind. And so in a way, you might feel that you need to pull back. You might feel like, okay, I need to take some time to process this, because I'm not entirely sure how, do you know what I mean? Like how it speaks to me, or how to navigate how I feel about that. For those of you that are single, honestly, I kind of feel like this is news about a past partner that reaches your ears, and when it does, I almost get the feeling that you won't know how to feel. So it could be maybe you parted on really bad terms. You know, you've got nothing to say to this person. You don't wish them any ill. You don't wish them any good. Just nothing, right? Maybe it reaches your ears that this person has a heart attack. Maybe, do you know what I mean? Like there's something here that's happening for them. You know, that when this information reaches your ears, you might need to take a moment to process how you feel about it, because you're not sure. For your money and materials, you have the Eight of Swords. So you've got two eights here. Two eights represents new knowledge, new wisdom, new intuitions, new knowledge, new wisdom, and new information that's coming in. And you've got the Hermit card. So there is, when it comes to your resources and your finances, be careful about signing on the dotted line for a big financial commitment this week, because the chances are you'll be locked into it for a lot longer than you had imagined. With the Eight of Cups here as well, be mindful of emotional spending, because this week it could really catch up with you and you might not even notice it. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, the Eight of Swords is your arms, your hands, your fingers and your upper extremities. I would also say as well, because you've got the Knight of Swords here, if you can work on your cardio from this week onward, I would do so. And then when it comes to your home and environment, for some of you, it looks like you're stuck in the home. So this might be, you know, it could be any number of things. Maybe you're, you know, maybe you're self-isolating. I hope not. But very possible that this week you are having to spend time at home to pull away from the world in some way, shape or form. And a big part of this could be because of some kind of realization. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care and I'll see you soon.